Chapter 22, Jason Segel. So, it's my mother again. Not that this is news to anyone, but the entire world changed during the COVID-19 pandemic. We stayed home, we stayed safe, we masked up, we got vaccinated, we devoured the news, we drove the empty streets, we doomed, we gloomed, we drank wine at noon. We survived. Do you remember where you were when COVID-19 first became real for you? I do. March 8th, 2020. I ran the Los Angeles Marathon. In the days leading up to the race, there were rumblings that the event might be canceled. Canceled? Really? There was some mysterious virus that was killing people all over the world. A few cases had already showed up in the United States. There was even a cruise ship full of Americans that were left drifting off the West Coast just to be on the safe side. This was my 8th year running Los Angeles. And normally, the streets were swarmed with marathon supporters, and the energy was always incredible. On March 8th, however, the crowds were forebodingly sparse. It was weird. From there, it only got worse. Even without a global pandemic, a career in the entertainment industry is fickle. The joke in Hollywood is that you go from, who is Matt Knudsen, to, get me Matt Knudsen, to, get me someone like Matt Knudsen, to, who is Matt Knudsen. There are ups, there are downs. It's like they say when you invest in stocks, past performance is no guarantee of future results. When I realized the entire industry would be shuttered indefinitely, I shaved my head, I wrote a movie, and for the first time in my entire career, I filed for unemployment. There was nothing being filmed, and even stand-up comedy clubs were closed. Many never reopened. As things began to open back up again, show business underwent a number of dynamic changes. Testing, masking, and proof of vaccination were now a given, but personally, the most significant difference between pre- and post-pandemic is that actors stopped meeting with casting directors in person. It was the dawn of the self-tape era. Auditions at the time felt like putting a message in a bottle and throwing it into the ocean. Yeah. You may hear something, but I hadn't worked in almost 2 years, and I didn't expect to anytime soon. And while I was in this perpetual mindset of malaise, however, I got a great audition, like a great audition. It was for a new series on Apple TV Plus called Pinch. The show was created by Bill Lawrence, Jason Segel, and Brett Goldstein. Wow! And the stars of the show, Jason Segel and Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford. Okay, I won't waste time overstating the obvious, but Harrison Ford will go down as one of the greatest leading men in the history of cinema. He is also one of my personal and professional heroes for so many reasons. I mean, if he was only Han Solo. If he was only Indiana Jones. Maybe it was because Bill Lawrence created Scrubs and Ted Lasso. Maybe it was because Jason Segel is a movie star. Maybe it was because Brett Goldstein is Roy Kent. Whatever the reason, at 79 years old, Harrison Ford agreed to be a regular on a television series for the first time in his career. This show is going to be epic. I thought to myself, oh man, whoever gets this job is going to be so lucky. I never dreamed for a second it would be me. Nevertheless, I did the best work that I could, put my audition into a glass bottle, and threw it into the ocean. Remarkably, the amazing casting director team of Debbie Romano and Brett Benner found my bottle and opened it. I got the job. What? When I got to Warner Brothers, I was welcomed by a production assistant who handed me a call sheet. As if the moment wasn't already sweet enough, she put a lei around my neck. As fate would have it, it was Aloha Friday. Okay, I thought long and hard about sharing this part of the story, but what the hell. When I looked down and saw my name on the call sheet next to Harrison Ford, I started crying. Don't worry, I was alone. It wasn't weird, right? Right? I was completely overwhelmed by the moment, by everything. I couldn't stop it, and I didn't try. It was like the past 2 years hit me all at once. What I'd been through, what we'd all been through. My mind flashed a COVID-19 montage. Worrying that my mom might die. The empty streets of the marathon. Standing in line for the grocery store. Sweatpants. Doom scrolling. All of it. And in that one singular moment, the pandemic officially ended for me. Warner Brothers Studios. Harrison Ford. Aloha Friday. Being on a set like that with people like that doesn't happen every day. It was special. It was easily some of the best days of work I've ever had. And if that was the end of it, it would have been enough. Before the show premiered, the name changed from Pinch to Shrinking. And it was a huge hit. Yeah. So lucky. So lucky. The question I get a lot is, what was Harrison Ford like? I wish I had a story to tell. We've never met. No, all of my scenes were with Jason Segel, who's also just the best dude. Our paths have yet to cross, but the future is unwritten. All I can relate are set stories that Jason shared. 2 of them. Harrison Ford was literally on the set of Shrinking, working on his 80th birthday. And the production brought out a giant birthday cake full of candles. And before he blew them out, someone said, "Harrison, make a wish." His wish? I wish I wasn't 80. My favorite story, on his final day of filming season 1, Harrison Ford rapped to thunderous applause. He got emotional and said, "I'm so grateful for this show. Thank you, everyone." And as he left the set for the final time, he walked past Jason Segel and whispered in his ear, "I knew I was funny." Mic drop. Oh.